Greetings, Instagrams, YouTubes, and to you too, friends of Wonderfair. It is Tuesday, July 28th in beautiful downtown Lawrence, Kansas. I've buttoned all the way up, which is a challenge because I've already buttoned one of my shirts all the way up today. I'm just so buttoned up today. I don't know if it's just desire for conformity in a chaotic time or what, but that's all right. Let's just go with it.
Buttoning.
It's 1 week until primary election day.
Boom.
Even though Tuesdays are news days, as in what's new at Wonderfair Day.
Not the actual news.
It's the news is on Monday. Keep up. So we just want to remind folks every day of how close the election is so that you make sure you go and vote or mail back in your ballot or drop your ballot in a box.
You can vote now. Early voting.
Acknowledging the many efforts toward voter disenfranchisement that might have made it impossible for you to vote. But you know what? Voter suppression is something I deal with in the off years, because in the on years, that ship has sailed and you got to just work on the elections.
Get it out.
And then you work on voter suppression the rest of the time. Like Jason Kander's incredible campaign to let America vote. Big fan. Local guy. Local news.
Yeah.
Remember Jason Kander? He was like
Bring him
hot
back.
in the news for like, he's back. He's around.
Good.
He's got his voting org. It's great.
It's
They
great.
make socks.
They make socks?
They have cute socks.
Okay, great.
To encourage people to vote. It's not the only thing they do. It's just their socks are nice. So
You can
Lawrence.
vote early in person at the courthouse.
Yeah.
And
do you want
elsewhere.
to have a voting date tomorrow?
I thought you wanted to vote on Wednesday. That's
I
tomorrow.
was just feeling Wednesday. I'm still feeling it out because tomorrow's also Stationer to the Stars Day, and
We can go before we come into work.
yeah, we could go in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
Could be tomorrow for us. Big date, voting date.
should
Okay.
we cosplay? Should we dress up for it?
Ooh. Who are you gonna cosplay as?
Like a monster.
Oh wow. Yeah, well, with the times, I guess. Lots of monsters
Anyway,
out there.
have fun. Have fun in when you vote.
Coop reminds us today's the last day to request your mail-in ballot. Thanks, Coop. Vote for Coop for DA.
Vote for Coop for DA. I was thinking about this morning, like what's the one race that I think is the most critical to win in Lawrence? I think it's DA.
It very well might be.
Yeah, it feels like it's DA for me. County Commission is also really, really important, and we have much better candidates than currently are seated on the County Commission for our goals, which are a more equitable way to spend funding that supports marginalized groups more than what our current system does, which is still kind of rooted in trickle-down economics. And you know what, Paul? We don't like trickle-down economics.
That's the whole scheme. What a scheme.
It seems
Give
like
rich
scam.
people more money and hope it trickles down. Don't buy it, folks. Don't buy it.
I mean, sometimes it works, and that's the unfortunate thing is, like, you can always point at examples of really good philanthropists, but ultimately, like, even their philanthropy is rooted in systems that are mistakes. So, oops.
Tech update.
What's
Forgot
that?
to turn
Oh,
off
it's
the
my
air conditioning.
soapbox.
It's very loud.
Let me just scoot my soapbox away. We all showered this morning, so the soapboxes were just, like, really nearby. We're so sudsy. Should I go turn off the AC while you carry on?
You could. Well, we got most of the politics off our chest yesterday, so instead we're going to show you some new stuff. We've had boxes piling up here at Wonderfair, so there's some new things that we can show you. Somewhat out of character for recent Wonderfair Home Shopping Network broadcasts, but indeed, we'll be showing you things that you can purchase right here at Wonderfair. So, I don't know. Yeah, here's Meredith. She pulled all the stuff. New to us from mostly Japan is what I'm thinking. Yeah. Is that where all this stuff comes from?
Well, Paul, you're the musician in the family. Could you sing a little bit of that song?
No, I can't sing any of that.
You can't?
Nope.
Oh, okay. My request was that Paul sing a few bars of that song about how the tide is high, but we're holding on, which feels so appropriate for this time. Whether
I'll do no justice to Debbie Harry.
Oh, so you at least know the name. Because, maybe a rising tide lifts all boats, or maybe that tide's too dang high. We're talking climate change and wealth inequality. So you're just barely holding on. You're just like, we're getting deep.
I didn't see this segue coming.
Well, folks, that's when you got to reach for your high tide stationery products. That was really a stretch.
Very much a stretch.
I apologize.
But, okay,
I got
High
through
Tide.
them. So High Tide is one of my favorite Japanese stationers. There's a lot of interesting ways that brands and companies are integrated in Japan, and I won't profess to know a ton about it, but it seems like there's a lot of parent companies that have smaller subsidiaries that are wholly owned by the parent, but have like a kind of creative, different profile. That happens somewhat in the United States too. Like Hallmark, for example, is a stationery card company that owns subsidiary companies that operate as though they're solo, independent, but Hallmark pays all the bills. And they have like a different aesthetic than Hallmark. Often they're a little sassier and can use curse words. Whew. So anyway, that's sort of how High Tide operated in Japan. And I always thought they were this big mega company making all these super cute stationaries we love. But I recently learned it's kind of just one really nice Japanese guy, Ryuichi, who we met at the stationery show. And he seems to run a pretty small ship. Yeah, it's a small operation.
Few people. That's it.
And, they're working with other companies in Japan that produce their goods, but they do the design end. And they have a throwback aesthetic, so everything looks like it could have been produced between like the 50s and the 70s usually. They're all about sturdy materials. They try to avoid, generally, like if they're using plastics, they're like a hard plastic that's a little less breakable and that's going to be more sturdy for the long term. So I like that about them. And they recently started selling us their products directly, which means I can now order whatever I want.
Get it all.
So we recently opened our High Tide order boxes, and it's very exciting.
Big boxes. We should have brought one out for you, but wouldn't fit on screen.
It sure wouldn't. I would fit inside of it.
Yeah.
In fact,
it's a big.
That would have been funny if we were still shooting unboxing videos. That would be a good one. Okay, so we're just going to show you some of the new High Tide things that we have in store. Should I go from largest to smallest? I think that's fine.
Sure.
Okay, we're going to start with that right there. If you'll grab me one of those. This is brand new from High Tide that we saw at the stationery show. Parade of colors. Oh. Orange and yellow and green and blue and black and white. That's from Josephine Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. You're welcome.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I didn't sing it though, but it is. It's the title song. Anyway, these are hard cases. So High Tide makes the Nahe case that's like a supple plastic case for notebooks. And they just upgraded to a hard case that's meant to be both for your paper and your electronic products so they can get a little more banged around and travel. And they're so cute that I ordered every single color. These are clamshell style to fit like a B7 notebook, which I will show in a second. And again, super sturdy plastic, ready to take an impact or be thrown down some stairs if that's your, if you're having a bad writing day and you just need to get a little something off your chest. They've got like mesh pockets to more easily stash your cords or your notebooks or your fountain pens if you want to carry a bunch of fountain pens in one side so they don't leak all over your life. And then on the other side, maybe you stash your Hobonichi or something. It wouldn't fit in A5, just as a heads up. This is only going to fit in A6 or a B6. It'll be a little too small for an A5. Super cute, and I love them. It's all about color choice for me from here on out. I feel like yellow and orange are calling my name, but this blue is very attractive. It's kind of a petrol blue. So we got a milli-billy of those, and I'm very happy about it. But speaking of biggest to smallest, movie magic. Whoosh. Okay, whoop. It doesn't matter though, because it's so sturdy. They also come in a festive, tinier size. So this is like a cell phone size, for example. So look at that. Maybe you're going kayaking all alone. I'm not saying these are totally waterproof, but if you don't think you're going to be too much of a mess and you just want something that your phone can knock around a little more, and this would certainly fit your phone. Bye. And you can put it in one of your pockets. And maybe that's how you stop doom scrolling all the time, is you put your phone in a very sturdy soft case, and then you throw your phone down the stairs. That would honestly feel great. Maybe I'll do that next time the phone really upsets me. It's not the phone, it's the news on it. But anyway, oh wow. What must it have been like in there for the phone showing this video? What if we shot the video from inside the case? That makes no sense. I apologize. Anyway, super cute. They come in 2 sizes. This one being more of a long, slim case that would be great for so many fountain pens or other delicate pens. Drawing tools, perhaps, certainly electronics, phones, earbuds. Is that what they're called? AirPods? I don't know. I don't use those. So, hard cases galore. We have so many of them. They are going to be online at a later date. Do you want to show all the colors of those small cases? Probably no need. You can see them on screen if you're on Instagram. So they come in the rainbow. All right. I'm moving fast because I know we don't have a ton of time, Paul. And I just
What else do you have to show these folks?
I think in order of largest to smallest, I mentioned that those hard cases, which are dreamy colors and very functional, are made to fit a B6 notebook. B6 notebooks are kind of harder to come by. B6 notebooks would be in the like 5-ish to 7-ish, 5x7-ish range.
It's the B team, not the A team.
Totally the B team. And so when Pinco started showing up with these really nice, super chunky 150 sheet grid notebooks, we brought in just a few to see people liked them, and they sold so fast. So we're happy to have them back in. And I went ahead and expanded our color range so that we will now have all the colors, which are these.
Taste that rainbow. 150 sheets, that's 300 pages.
It's a lot. And if you saw our notebook episode, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say they're sewn into a bunch of signatures. So they still lay pretty flat.
I can show that off.
Yep, you can show the overhead. So it's got just a lot of little folded signatures, which mean when you open every page, it can still lay pretty flat. Not as flat as, say, a Mossery, but it'll let you get your work done, especially if you're able to kind of clip it. So pretty good flat lay for you. Certainly a nice, easy to turn and bend around because these covers are slightly plasticky. So you can set your coffee down on them, or you can put them in your in the smaller size, put them in your sweaty butt pocket. That's no big deal. It's plastic. These are great butt pocket books. They're kind of thick though.
Pretty chunky.
Because even the B7 here at the tiny
pages.
side, Hundo Pages. This is a big, chunky notebook. Paul, what would you expect to pay for such a chunky, a thoughtfully plastic covered, durable, supple notebook?
Nice paper in there. Seems very nice.
What would you expect
Grid.
to pay?
They even printed a grid on it. It's not blank, folks. It's got a grid printed on it. They charge extra for that. They've got it, right?
Why are you coming for blank notebooks? Blank notebooks are nice too.
I'm guessing $15, $20.
Well, you'd only need to pay $10 for this version of this super chunky notebook.
That's a lot of pages. That's
a lot of pages.
300 pages? What is that? 3 cents a page?
It's a good deal.
Less?
This little bubby is $7 for your pocket. So we love these. People have they've been fan favorites. So if you're
fan favorites.
I'm not making that up.
I know.
If you're a person struggling to find a B6 notebook for your notebook covers, etc., or if you just find A5 notebooks slightly too big for your lifestyle, or if you want one of those super cute hard cases in a notebook to fit in it, you could mix and match them with these colors. So, Paul, you mentioned blank notebooks in what I must say was a derogatory manner.
Oh, sure, blank's fine, but I'm just saying you get a real bonus here. The pages are all printed with a grid.
Absolutely.
And look at this beautiful design. You know, classy stuff right here. Got that Futura worked in. Look great on your desk. Pile them high.
Did you know that when the Traveler's Notebook was first made, when the artist was kind of conceptualizing it, he found that it was more expensive to buy paper that had, he assumed, printed lines on it. So that's why the notebook that comes in a Traveler's is blank. It was to cut costs so they could spend more on the quality leather cover that endures. But if you're more of a ruled pages kind of person, you're going to want to buy the notebook with the stripy shirt, kid. So cute. This is the blank version. This is the stripy version. But wait, it gets cuter. Here's the grid dress girl. That's right. This notebook's got grid pages. It's so cute. It's so clever. It's not necessary, if I'm honest. But if you know someone who just loves cute notebooks, I think this set of 3 notebooks together is just wonderful. I think they're around $9 each. Is that right, Paul? $8.50. So they don't necessarily come as a set, but you, in my opinion, should buy them as a set because they're so cute. Those are the kind of notebooks I will buy as art objects and will probably never personally use, but I really respect any of you who actually use them and maybe use them to track the outfits you wear in Animal Crossing.
Right.
Since they're kind of clothing themed. I just think they're
You're looking for any sort of Animal Crossing tie-in here on your stationery. I get it.
I just really have been enjoying Animal Crossing lately. It's been helping me de-stress. So, thank you, Nintendo. Next up, those notebooks were cute. There's no transition here other than I added a new item from an existing line we've carried by High Tide under their mark called Pinco. Pinco is the brand they use for their really basic office supply stuff that looks like old school boxes and things. I got their Pinco storage containers in the pencil box shape. We've carried these in little tote boxes and little tiny square boxes, but now the storage container is here for your pencils. It will not hold a Blackwing. Blackwings are so long. It's a problem. There's like no pencil case in our store currently that fits a Blackwing. We need to correct that. But in the meantime, if you're using mechanical pencils or primarily ballpoint pens or markers, other than Tombos, which are long, this will perfectly fit those supplies. It comes in beige and black and yellow and orange and navy and light blue. They're so cute. They look like totally classic pencil boxes. Like I still have one very similar to this from when I was in grade school that is covered in puffy paint and it still holds my embroidery supplies.
Will last for years. Will look great in your estate sale 40, 50, 60 years down the road.
Yeah, if you're not estate planning right now, you need to talk to your funding person. And by estate planning, I of course mean planning your estate sale.
Planning,
where people buy
collecting
your
cool
junk
stuff to have in your estate sale
for just several dollars. Not a lot of
that would easily go for $3 to $5 in an estate sale, which is holding a pretty good amount of value because it also means it didn't get thrown out at any point over the last 40 years.
You will have paid $8.50 for it though, so it's not retained.
I'm just saying it held 50% of its value and you got use out of it versus some cheaper container that fell apart and you had to throw away.
That's a really good point.
Or something like that. So it's gonna stick with you for the rest of your life, unless you give it to a friend.
These are great estate planning tips. Should we talk to our accountant about it?
I don't know that she would have much advice there.
Well, next up.
Tech update. I have no idea why the Instagram aspect ratio has gone goofy. It's been happening kind of recently where it squashes the video and I just don't know what to do about it, honestly. Sorry.
It's very weird.
It's real squashy. Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead with these cool bookmarks because we're almost out of time here.
I know. Okay. I stared into the depths of this product and it really took me, I don't know quite where I went for a minute there. Next up, by popular demand, this one, we're not even joking about that. This is a clip ruler that High Tide makes. This is under their own name, so under the High Tide name. It's an extremely flat aluminum ruler. It is not in inches though. It's only in the metric system. Sorry about that. And but what this is ideal for in your marking life is more like making straight lines as you're going through your, maybe either for your reading purposes if it improves your reading to follow along with the ruler, or especially if you just need to do any straight lines in your bullet journal for boxing out ideas or even crossing through lines that you are eliminating. Like if you don't like to just slash through a completed to-do list, but you like to very methodically get a ruler going and get a straight line across that task that you crushed, this might be something that's helpful in your bullet journal. It also marks your page. It's
a lovely bookmark. It's very thin. It's not going to really chunk out your book in any way, but it's going to be there for you when you need that hard, straight edge. And it's just $9. We've had bookmarks costing twice that.
That's true.
And this has ruler stuff on it.
No ruler stuff. And it's a handy way to teach yourself the metric system just in case we're ever going to catch up with the rest of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, Reagan.
Yeah.
Should have been there
Anyway,
40 years ago.
We're a little bit behind the curve. Next up, speaking of bookmarks, this is one of the sleeper hits.
It
True. Came on surprisingly strong last time we carried them, and we've been out for a minute. But these are the bookmarkers with a pin holder. So it looks like a music note. It's kind of hard to see through the packaging, but it's a big loop, and it's very flat piece of aluminum, and then it goes up and over the edge of your book and holds a pin. It's a pretty big profile pin holder there too. I think it would definitely hold your basic pins like Pilot G2, certainly skinnier pins like the Sarasa and maybe like a Micron. And I think it would hold most standard fountain pens except the most chunky ones like an Opus is probably too chunky. But I think a Pilot Metropolitan would fit down inside of there. I think a Lamy Safari would fit in there. Maybe not the cap though. Anyway, so this is, whoops. This is just a great little bookmarker tool that also incorporates a pen loop. So nice. Another great tool for a bullet journaler, in my opinion.
Can work with the notebook. Can work with whatever you're casually reading.
Yeah.
What are you casually reading these days?
Well, is this a real question? Very vivid, stationary social life, which for cats makes total sense when you think about language. So,
this is part of our upcoming spin-off, Wonder Fair Tiny.
Yeah.
A smaller version. It's much, much smaller physically. And all the stuff we sell in it is much smaller.
Look, I'm hiding it behind my hand because it's so tiny. An item that we had starting at Christmas time last year and then sold out of and haven't had again for a minute is the tiny container. It is a tiny metal toolbox that looks like a big adult toolbox, but it's the size for your cat.
So once again, you get your tiny little children or your pets these great art supplies and you photograph them with it and they look like they're huge.
Red.
And that's the best thing you can do for your Instagram.
Green.
Probably.
So Paul will show you a close-up to Instagram of just how tiny and cute. Here's the red one up close for Insta, but it's a little metal box, slightly taller than an Altoids can, narrow, and it's got a little metal handle so that you can absolutely walk down the street carrying this with your overalls and just make people think you're a plumber for tiny things. Maybe even try to make that your profession. I'm not sure, but it's so cute. It even says tiny container on the top in case people were wondering how and what this magical thing could be. So to close out, I have a suggestion of
what's the cost of these tiny containers?
I think it's $8.
$8.
That's a tiny price, honestly.
A tiny price for a tiny container.
They're so cute. I just feel like it's instant gift wrapping for a tiny gift, like jewelry or a watch or I don't know. But here's what I would keep in a tiny container in my life. And then when I can go to a coffee shop again, maybe in 2021, I would start unpacking this tiny container on my desk and delight everyone around me. Inside this tiny container, I have placed a roll of washi tape. So, I'm ready to make some cute, cute stationery letters when I'm writing letters at the coffee shop. An entire tin of J.R. Ben ink cartridges. I pulled them in the light gray color because I think it's nice for sketching so that it's easier to color on top of it. So you've got your fountain pen in a separate case, maybe a hard case. Then you got
Unless you have a really tiny fountain pen, like the Midori Travelers would totally fit into this tiny container.
You are absolutely correct. I should have thought of that. Good call. I put in one of my favorite erasers. It's the Radar Clear Eraser. So
an astonishingly cool
clear.
eraser.
It still fits. I'm still going. There's still stuff in my tiny container. I put in this tiny mechanical pencil that fits inside of it. And it's like wood case and it's extremely cute. So I basically got a whole writing set here, but what if I use up all the lead in my tiny pencil? No problem.
Boom.
I put a set of these 0.5 mixed color leads by Nano Dia inside that we covered on the show last Tuesday. So inside this tiny container, you can put a pencil and some leads and an eraser and some ink cartridges. And then you just go, whoop, 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 and then you just go right down to the coffee shop.
There you go. That's all you need. And maybe get a really tiny notebook while you're at it. I mean, this is small, but we have smaller. We have smaller, so you can hit us up for that.
Okay, now I'd like to brainstorm the cutest animal that could carry a tiny toolbox to work, and I already know the answer, and it's an otter.
Oh, yeah, an otter would look great
Because
carrying that.
otters kind of
tiny
like
toolbox.
stand up a lot, and they have very long claw hands, so I think it could also grip a tiny toolbox.
Well, I just got to give a shout out to chimpanzee because they look great when they're wearing clothes, and put some tiny toolboxes in the repertoire or a little tiny briefcase.
You're not
amazing.
wrong. You're not wrong.
Especially because they can just like walk around bipedal, pretty sick. So
Okay, tiny chimpanzee. Yeah, tiny chimpanzee is good. I like it.
Remember that movie? What was that movie? Most Valuable Primate. You ever see that one with a monkey plays hockey? What a great movie. Love it. That's our recommendation for movies. Check out Most Valuable Primate. We rented it from the library on an interlibrary loan like 8 years ago, so maybe you can get it there.
That's right. We had to request it specially be sent to us.
Most Valuable Primate. Love that one. Okay, that's our show for today. We got to open the store. We're
Pretty
late.
much nailed it. Okie
Okay.
dokie.
See you tomorrow.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow.